Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So a couple days ago, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported that multiple team executives believe that CJ Henderson, former top 10 pick just a year ago, could potentially be on the move. He also went on to say that Jacksonville has given the impression in some league circles that they're shopping him and that they actually feel pretty good about the cornerback position. And we're taking a look at that position right now for the Jags. I mean, they went out and they signed Shaquille Griffin to a 3-year contract. Pretty big deal as well. I mean, he was a really productive player in Seattle. He's obviously going to be an outside, boundary corner here. They just drafted Tyson Campbell from Georgia with the first pick in the second round. And supposedly he's looked great so far through Jaguars camp. The coaching staff really likes where he's at. He's progressing really well. And then they also still have Sidney Jones, who I thought did an admirable job last season for the Jaguars secondary. So the whole situation is kind of unclear. I just feel like it's just a hazy situation. Nobody really knows what's happening. Maybe, just maybe, Henderson needs a fresh start somewhere else. I mean, you listen to Urban Meyer talk about Henderson, it just seems like he's a little unclear as well on what exactly is going on. Henderson has obviously missed a lot of time. He only played in 8 games last season, dealt with a couple injuries, groin, shoulder. He spent some time on the virus list. Missed some time due to personal reasons and illness. So the whole situation, again, is unclear. Nobody really knows what's truly happening here, but given where we are today, with all of the uncertainty surrounding the situation, with some of the moves that Jacksonville has made in the cornerback department this offseason, Griffin, Campbell, and how these guys are progressing, it seems like CJ Henderson could very well be on the move. And I mean, again, according to Jeremy Fowler here, it's not one of those situations where teams are calling Jacksonville and they're just refusing to pick up the phone. It's more so Jacksonville could be initiating this. So when we take a look at CJ Henderson, he's only 22 years old. 22, super young. To kind of put it in perspective, he's the same age as Zach Wilson. Okay, so 6'1", roughly 205 pounds. There was a lot to like about CJ Henderson back at Florida. He had the size, he had the range, really high defensive IQ. He was physical, not afraid to come up and tackle, versatile guy. Yes, he was an outside guy, but he could play in man, he could play in zone. He had production in both. So overall, I mean, CJ Henderson, bottom line, was a top 10 pick for a reason. And by the way, we talked about him missing a lot of time due to injuries his rookie season. He only played in those 8 games, but in those 8 games, he was pretty productive. He wasn't elite, but he had a pick. He had, I think, 36 combined tackles, 6 passes defended against. For a rookie cornerback, albeit he's a top 10 pick, so he does have those expectations, but Henderson was solid. And then, of course, we have to bring up the contract because that's a big part in this situation as well. He still has 3 years left. 3 years left on his rookie contract. Okay, so essentially, if you're a team out there trying to acquire CJ Henderson, a 22-year-old former top 10 pick just a season ago, with all of the physical traits in the world to be successful, a guy who has a little bit of NFL experience, and he's shown he can play at this level, barring any injury, and everything is okay with CJ off the field, you could potentially be getting a franchise boundary corner for the next 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years, that's not a stretch to say. Because given his age, given what he has the potential to do, I think the sky's the limit for CJ Henderson. Okay, now, of course, how does he project into the Jets defense with Robert Saleh? I think he projects really well. I mean, you take a look at what he excelled in back in Florida. He had the burst, speed, overall athleticism. He had production in both man and zone coverages, a physical corner that can come up and hit. I think because of the closing speed, that's what really makes, or what would make Henderson shine in the Saleh cover 3, cover 4 system. And you take a look at the Jets cornerback room as we stand right now, it's a young group. So CJ Henderson coming in at 22 years old fits the timeline of the Jets. New York did not sign a Steven Nelson, a Richard Sherman. Joe Douglas did not acquire a veteran cornerback this offseason. So CJ Henderson can slide right into the Jets locker room and start competing from day one, early in Jets training camp here. We still have half a week before the first preseason game. I feel like that's enough time to get CJ Henderson going, get him accustomed to the defense, get him accustomed, as far as playing chemistry with the guys. And I truly feel like Henderson can start competing with guys like Bryce Hall and Bless Austin. So as far as compensation is concerned, this is where it gets a little muddy. I don't know what Jacksonville would accept for CJ Henderson. I feel like determining Henderson's value is really difficult at this point, given the rarity of this circumstance that we're currently in, where you have a top 10 pick being shopped after one season with not a lot of playing time. I mean, how you just don't see that. It's just so uncommon. I can't even think of one time that this has happened before. So it's tough to say how much Jacksonville wants in return. Maybe they want a first round pick. Maybe they just want a fourth. Maybe they just want to get him out of there and just recoup what they can. Maybe they want to wait a couple weeks to see how CJ Henderson performs in game before making up their mind on what they want in return for Henderson, or maybe they just change their mind completely and want to keep him. But if it was me and I was Joe Douglas in the situation and I was looking at, possibly giving up a pick or, a pick or two, or maybe even a player for CJ Henderson, I think I would feel comfortable dishing out a mid-round pick, a third, a fourth round pick, maybe even a mid and a late round draft pick, like a third round pick this season and a sixth rounder next year, something along those lines. Maybe a late round pick, like a fifth or a sixth rounder, and a player that Jacksonville could, just pop right into their lineup and start contributing from day one. But as far as maybe dishing out a first or a second, I will say this: the Jets obviously have 2 1s and 2 2s, so it does give JD that little bit of leash or more flexibility in the trade department. Let's just say Joe Douglas does in fact give up a second round pick for Henderson. It's not like we're completely screwed out of the middle of the draft here, because we do have that extra second round pick. Now all of a sudden we're just back on the same level as every other team out there with 1 second round pick. So it's not the end of the world, but I'll say this. If Joe Douglas parts ways with a second round pick for CJ Henderson, there has to be a 100%, 1000% certainty across the board from the front office down to the coaching staff that this is the right move and CJ Henderson will be a part of the team moving forward. I think because Robert Saleh is a player's coach and has so much respect around the league from not only just his peers, other coaches, but players as well, and because Henderson does fit the system, I feel like it does make his chances of coming to the New York Jets a little higher than other teams out there. The one team that, of course, we have to keep our eye on is the New Orleans Saints, a team that is, really, really looking heavily into the cornerback market. But for me personally, I think if you want to give up that second or, even a first round pick here, you have got to be 100% bought in with CJ Henderson being on this team for the foreseeable future. I mean, I don't want to be in a situation like Jamal Adams and the Seattle Seahawks where they acquire him, but the future is just hazy. The future is just up in the air. Nobody knows. Is Adams going to be back? Is he going to sign that huge deal? Are the Seahawks going to offer him the big deal? It's just a ton of question marks. If the Jets land CJ Henderson, I want to have that security. Henderson's here for the long haul. He's going to be a piece moving forward. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What would you give up for CJ Henderson? What do you think is fair? Do you want him in the first place? Or should we roll with the guys currently on the roster, the Bless Austins of the world, the Bryce Halls of the world? I'll say this right before I end the video. If we do decide to go that route and we pass on trying to trade for a Henderson, I think that's okay. I think Bless and Bryce in this system under Saleh, under Ulbrich will develop nicely. I don't know if they'll turn into top 5 corners or anything like that, but I do like from an upside perspective where they both stand. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.